ever eaten moldy chocolate?
The tardigrade? I'm Jasmin.
Swear on Satan, I'll do that.
That's my headcanon.
Okay, into it, all of it.
I'm Mells.
I love it. Dumb.
Wait a minute.
And if you're watching TV,
I love it. Make sure it's damn fine TV.
This is amazing.
That was awesome. Oh my god. Okay. Perfectly calibrating my tone as I tell a rich lady to go fuck herself. I'm Jay.
And hiding out in the wardrobe, I'm Mells.
Welcome to Damn Fine TV's Yellowjackets rewatch.
This week we're covering Season 1, Episode 4. Now let's get the book club started.
Book club. Was this?
Woo-hoo.
This was
This
the
is
first mention of book club from Jeff, right? But
Yes.
Adam mentioned it last week. Or in the last episode, I should say, right?
Yeah, it was very... I had not even remembered that. And,
But it's so funny that Shauna would then take that and make that her excuse that she's at book club.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of episode 3, I did just want to say thank you so much to Coral from Wholesome Peaks for stepping in and guest hosting for me. Or should I say Carol? I thought Carol and Melanie did a great job last week.
Thank you.
No, but for real, I really enjoyed that episode. I loved your guys' discussion. You got a lot of you made some wheels turn for me, and I've got some thoughts about the episode, but I kind of worked it into my notes for episode 4. So I'll just bring it up as we move through. But
Nice.
Thank you to Coral. Sorry for my absence. Great episode.
Don't apologize. We all need a leave of absence sometimes. It's okay.
I did have a doctor's note, so.
That's right. It was excused, everyone. Okay, it was excused. So.
All right, well, should we dive into a summary for episode 4?
Yes.
All right. You, me, you, me.
I'll go. Is that cool?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Episode 4, Bear Down. We hope you got your tickets because back in 96, we're going to a gun show. The Yellowjackets and Travis must determine who is better with a rifle so they can begin to live off the land. In the present day, Ty tries to play nice with rich people, Nat uses Kevin, and Shauna gets reckless with Adam. Meanwhile, we get a glimpse into what Nat's home life was like in the 90s.
Yes. We got it. All right. Well, I wrote a haiku for my overall thoughts, a la Kevin at dinner.
I cannot wait.
Good, but not a fave. Can't stand Travis. Here for Ty. Love Shauna's book club.
Round of applause.
Thank you.
Oh, the crowd goes wild.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, I see a rose
beautiful.
was thrown up on stage. Thank you so much.
Oh, that was my underwear. I'm so sorry.
Oh, my favorite. I'll take those home.
Wait, I don't wear any. That was a special, very new, clean pair just for you.
Oh, just right out of the package? All right. I'll take it.
Right off the rack.
Free underwear.
Well, that haiku was beautiful. Haiku.
Oh, well, thank you. Haiku? Thank you. Bless you.
Oh, my God. Haiku. Thank you. Yes, that was my haiku. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. All right, what did you think?
Okay, I am sharing the same sentiments as you. Is it my favorite episode so far? No, I really enjoyed episode 3 a lot. But this was a good one. Don't get me wrong. I want to put the disclaimer up that I think all episodes of this season of Yellowjackets is phenomenal. Yeah. But so far, this is not my favorite. And maybe it's because I'm so desperate still for more of the past and not so much of the present. That'll change for me. Obviously, once more of the present day things start to get kicked off and whatnot. But right now I'm just so absorbed into, what the 96,
Yeah.
crew is. Like, how are they managing? How are they going to survive? I agree with you. I was really not into Travis. Like, I was so into Travis last week because he was in the lake with no shirt on. And then this week I was like, you motherfucker. I am not into you anymore.
I mean, even on my first watch through, I can remember feeling really touched by him wanting to go and get the ring from his dad and bring it back for his little brother. And then the way that he gives Nat, or he makes sure Nat gets the credit for bringing back the food. There was something about that I think really softened him up a little bit for me. But this time through, I'm just like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
You are so outnumbered. You'd think that you would shut the fuck up for 5 seconds. And also the gun in Nat's face was it was too much for me this time. Yeah.
I hated it. I hated it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, everything else though in the episode, I mean, obviously I'm here for Misty. Loved her little confrontation with Jessica. I'm very excited where that is going to go. I love this lady that she's just bringing along with her. I know, obviously, I paid attention to this the first time around, but it's just hilarious to me that she just wheels this lady to this restaurant, and the lady's like, I want the top shelf, double whiskey, red label. Do not fuck with me tonight.
Good for her.
Yeah, because she's like, I'm here with this crazy bitch, Misty Quigley. Okay,
yes.
this
is how this crazy woman is paying me to be here. I'm gonna need some booze. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I obviously enjoyed it. My favorite thing was the Nat backstory, and I knew that I was gonna feel that way again because I felt that way before. But yeah, it was a good episode though.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think that all of the episodes in this season are really good, but this one's just not a standout overall.
Right.
There are moments that I really like, but there's also moments that I felt were kind of unnecessary. There's a scene where I guess Nat, I think it's when she's just getting back to her motel, her hotel, whatever. She's just splashing water on her face. And I was like, but what are we doing here? I'm not getting any further emotion from this. I already know the kind of headspace that Nat is in. I don't really know why we're doing this. And there was another moment that I thought was a little unnecessary, but it's not coming to me right now, but maybe it'll spark as we move through. But yeah, let's dive into stuff that we want to discuss. I mean, you mentioned Nat's backstory. Do you want to just go right into that?
Sure. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Let me. Okay.
Okay.
Outcast. I know. It's all right. Okay. I love Misty. Nat will always have my heart, though. She had it the first time around. She's got it this time. I didn't have a similar. There are some similarities in her background that also are true to mine. So perhaps I just find her super relatable. But her backstory is so heartbreaking. And really speaks to adult Natalie's demeanor and everything, right? She was going through all of this, and then this brutal death of her father, which she obviously blames herself for. Then this happens where, they're stranded and they're going to have to learn how to survive. And she's obviously I think she's the most skilled out of the group, and no one really realizes that. So she's also a natural leader. And so, you take all that, and we don't know everything that transpired in the time since they were rescued to the present day, but it really makes adult Natalie way more relatable too once you know more about her backstory, in my opinion. I also love how I shouldn't say I love that she's taking advantage of goth daddy Kevin, but I'm also yes, that's right. Use your prowess to your advantage. I mean, because it's she's obviously got, those are I want to say the word is innate, but I don't know if that's right. But those are those survival or those instincts where she can, Misty might be a citizen detective, but like Natalie's the real like deal. You know what I mean? Like Misty's a great, like their partnership is good because I think Misty has like the more crazy that she can get things done, but Natalie's like, more of the, no, I shouldn't say she's more cunning because we'll see more of Misty as the season goes on.
They're just cunning in different ways, right?
Right.
Like even at the beginning of the episode, Misty is like, I think I know a guy that could maybe get into Travis's emails or something, which is a great idea. But then we see Nat go one step further and she's going to get info on the toxicology report. Like she can handle herself. She's just going to go about it in a different way. I love your point about her being a natural leader, but she's also the type of person that wouldn't step into that role because she doesn't want, like the vibe I get from her is she doesn't want to be a leader, but she has the skills to be one.
Absolutely.
Which actually makes you the best leader, I think. Like the people that don't really want to lead always make the best leaders, like they're forced into the situation by circumstances out of their control or whatever. But yeah, it's obviously a super sad backstory. For some reason, I didn't find myself as invested this time around. And maybe it's just because I think first time around, you are so, the backstory is so intertwined with the reveal that she, knows how to shoot a gun, knows how to shoot a gun really well. And it's almost like a little like, ooh, gotcha when we get to the end and it's revealed that she didn't actually shoot her father. That was a crazy accident that happened.
Yes.
And I agree. I think she probably does hold on to some guilt from it. But I don't know. There was something about that where I was like, well, I kind of already know where that's going. It's not... it just didn't hit me in the same way. And it was part of why like the episode isn't the standout for me, but it still does the same character work. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, you're right. Like I said this, last episode, but like this juxtaposition they do between like some backstory and then whether it's Nat's backstory and then the 96 juxtaposition, or like last week I mentioned where there's the juxtaposition of present day Ty walking down the stairs as she's walking up that ladder, in the cabin. What I loved about this is that as soon as she clicked the safety, like when she was shooting the cans, it goes back, or you see it juxtapose. Now, I'm not a wordsmith. You see it intertwined with like the fact that her dad is the one that was like, you got to take the safety off, dummy.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Their transitions are beautiful.
They're seamless.
I can't remember if we mentioned this way back when we did episode 1 or maybe in episode 2, but there's a few shows that really do that well. Like Haunting of Hill House was another show where like one that I'll always remember is like younger Theo just grabs an apple and then older Theo is like biting into the apple, or maybe it's vice versa. But there's just something about using that to tether between the two different versions of the same person that works really nicely. So all of that is still really nicely done. I was just like, okay, I know this part. I kind of want to get into other stuff.
Sure. I just have to mention this. Another, and it's Melanie Linsky again, but another show that did that brilliantly was Castle Rock. And with her, her younger self and then her adult self, the transitions in that show as well between those characters. Oh, chef's kiss. And this show does it just amazingly. So
there's another one actually that I do want to talk about if you're good on Nat's backstory.
Oh, yes. Go right ahead.
And we can sort of, I don't know if this really fits in with what we're calling like hunters and gatherers, which is basically the 96 plot line, or maybe more of a Shauna thing. But there is, I wrote it down so I would get it right when we were talking, but we either go from present day Shauna to past Shauna or other way around. Oh, I know what it is. It's Shauna is journaling and Javi comes and is like interested in what she's doing. And then we cut to, I think, present day Shauna putting her makeup on, reminiscing about fucking Adam. And I'm like, yeah, no wonder people made the connection or were thinking that there was something to the idea that Adam is Javi. I feel like they were trying to sell that so hard in this episode.
Yes, I agree with that. I really do. I mean,
And based on the other ways that they use these transitions and this visual language, I'm like, why did you do this to us?
it's oh my god, it's that sleight of the hand, and it's so great. Like,
Yeah.
the idea of, like, the red herring or whatever, they
Yes.
just
Yeah.
do that so well here to where it's not annoying. Like, there have been American Horror Story. There have been shows where they have thrown, like, a red herring out there, and I'm like, "This is stupid, it's not even,"
Right.
but
Yes.
this was well, because there's such a mystery around obviously, when we start off with we don't even know much about present day Travis before he's found,
Right. Yeah.
dead.
Yeah.
And you're just getting basically backstory, and there's no mention of Javi. So it's just a beautiful play on that red herring for you to be like, shit, this has got to be Javi. And oh man, so it's just so good. It's really good.
I know, I totally agree. I loved that transition. It like made me retroactively mad at myself from the first
Same.
time through, like
Same.
totally falling for it. But yeah. So do you want to stay on Shauna and Adam or do you want to
Sure.
talk? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys talked a lot last week about, Adam, like Shauna being kind of reckless. And I loved that moment where Coral reined you in and was like, don't go to a stranger's house.
That was perfect because I was like, oh, you're right, actually. Very good point.
I thought that was so funny because I was 100% on board with you. I was like, yes, don't pay for that hotel room. Absolutely keep it free. And then I was like, yes, Coral.
Very
Great
good
point. Great
Coral.
point.
Yes.
But I don't know. I'm really here for Shauna and Adam. I think even more so than the first time through. There is something. Look, I know Shauna is making a shitty choice in cheating on her husband. I think Coral, another great point last week was once a cheater, always a cheater. Like that can come back around and bite you in the ass. I mean, their first interactions, Jeff and Shauna, were cheating on Jackie, right? And not to say that, maybe once a cheater, always a cheater isn't super fair. I do think people can change, but maybe not in television. Maybe that's not where they're doing the changing. But point being, yes, it's a shitty choice to cheat on your husband, but there's something about Shauna living out missed portions of her youth that I am just really here for. And I hate that, like, her kid's a teenager. She's going to pay her very little attention. That is what teenage girls do to their mothers, unfortunately, or at least for the most part. And her husband has some crazy shit going on that he has not told her about yet. But like nobody's paying any attention to her and she cannot be herself at home. And there's something about this relationship with Adam where she is carefree. She is happy. She's getting the best sex that she's had in probably a decade. And I'm like, go ahead, girl, read your books. Like, let's do this.
Where can I sign up for this book club? No,
Yes,
I'm just kidding.
go for it. Jump off your bridges, fuck in the back seat, drink your shitty alcohol. I love it.
Yeah, I've said this, and I'll probably continue to say it. And I'm sorry, it's going to be very, very broken record, but adult Shauna is so relatable, and I didn't miss out on very important, like, huge chunks of my youth like these girls did, but
Right.
I can only imagine when you're in what seems like a loveless marriage between she and Jeff. And also, let's not forget that it was really Tabitha that got the sex of her life and wasn't necessarily Shauna. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean? There's obviously something happening there. You're right. Like Callie is not, she doesn't even know like how to thaw out a piece of meat. There's just a lot going on here. And Shauna wanting to relive because Adam I believe for all intents and purposes is younger than her from what I can just gather, right? I don't think it's ever explicitly said, but
He gives a bit of a younger vibe,
he
yeah.
does. Yeah,
Yeah.
but also Shauna might, I mean, she had to grow up very quickly, so she might just give off a more mature vibe
Mm.
because of that. I don't know.
Yes. Yes.
But regardless, like, yes, I hate that she can't experience this with Jeff, but I'm also not mad that she's experienced it with Adam. Even though I'm just so fucking sus of him because it's like when they were at the mini golf and he was like, "Well, if I win, you tell me something personal about you." And I'm like, I mean, I know y'all are like doing it and whatever, but we are in the age of Tinder where it's kind of like you don't have to know everyone's backstory to hook up. So there's like it's just there's a lot of sus things about Adam, obviously, but I just love this freeing innocence
Yes.
that it feels like for her. Even though she gets that warning from Jackie, I'm like, Shauna,
Mhm.
I mean, you know
Right.
what? Do it. And the whole once a cheater, always a cheater thing, I mean, she obviously has this ingrained in her mind about Jeff because she's already seen him at the hotel
Yeah.
with
Yes.
a female. So obviously this is in her mind as well. So I mean, their relationship is kind of built on a a scandalous and then a pregnancy and all of these well, we can be I guess we can be spoilery.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, like all of these things
There's also a
and
part of me that's like, do I not fault Shauna because I know that, like, everything's gonna be fine between Jeff and Shauna? Like,
well, there's that
it
too. I
it
mean,
does
there
have
is
a
that.
kind of a happy ending as far as we know right now,
I
right?
know.
But
You know, I
it
was thinking about
obviously, like,
that. Oh, sorry.
something needed to happen between the 2 of them so that they could finally be honest with each other. It
Yeah.
sucks that it was this, but I almost feel like this is really good for their marriage.
I mean, honestly, yeah, yeah, we'll see. It's gonna like this. A lot of things are gonna. Once the things come out, it's gonna bring them together and bring them closer. And I honestly, when she came in from book club, and he asked her, like, I immediately got that flash in my mind of the episode where they're all just sitting there eating the popcorn and hanging. Oops, excuse me, and
Yeah.
hanging out. And I mean, I almost teared up because I was like, okay, better days are ahead.
Yeah,
Okay. Like,
yeah,
let's just
and I'm
hang in
sure
there.
that that definitely, like, colors my feelings on what's happening. How could it not?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
and I think, like you said, she's so relatable and even more so right now because I think all of us from time to time have a kind of impulse to, "Oh my god, I never got to experience that. I would love to do that." Or want to, like, go relive the glory days, quote unquote, right? And, like, some of those things we can do without massive consequences, and some of them we decide not to do because they would cause these massive consequences. But, like, it's great for TV. So
It is. And I mean, honestly, it's great for Shauna. I mean, good
yeah.
for you. Like, I think the most, like, okay. The getting someone to buy you the alcohol, even though that guy was so shady boots when he was like, they're not going to card you. And she's like, I mean, like,
I know.
Melanie Linsky, I fucking love her anyway, but like
Yeah.
this adult Shauna is just, I am here for her 100%. Like, I love,
Yeah.
and the negotiations with he's like, add 20, and she's like, 10, and he's like, mm-mm. She's like, mm-mm. You know, just like, I
Yes,
adore her.
her choices, like, her acting choices in that moment were so perfect.
So good. But so just like that, and then obviously the mini golf thing, but there was something about just that jump of them together off the bridge, and I was like, I mean, this has gotta be so freeing for her because she
Mhm.
just, I mean, what a traumatic thing to have gone through at the age that she did, and I don't know, like, she just feels so weightless in that moment, at least that's what comes through for me, and I'm just like, "Oh god."
Yeah.
Okay, guess what? It's not a Subway napkin, it's a Stranger Things napkin, but it was just
Still a
beautiful.
napkin.
It's still a
Still a
napkin.
napkin. Yes, I enjoyed it. Oh, the way that she just, like, beamed when she
Right.
made the shot in mini golf and was like, "Actually, I've never done that before. That was incredible." I don't it made me happy,
I mean,
so
think about these memories that she's making. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, oh gosh, yeah, I've got chilly bumps because I'm just like, it's so good. It's so
Yeah,
good. It's so bad,
totally
but it's
agree.
so good.
Yeah, but it's like, whatever, it's gonna be fine, so don't
Yeah,
worry
it's
about
true.
it. Alright, you wanna go back to '96 now and talk about, The Hunters and the Gatherers?
Oh, please, yeah, let's do that.
So, I don't know, I struggled with this only because I think it's really a more recent thing for me, but I really struggle with guns in TV shows and movies now, unless it's like a full-on horror, I
Right,
guess, like
right.
where, there's always gonna be some sort of weapon. And look, like I get it. This was a good reason to know how to use a gun to, fend for yourself and live off the land or whatever, but I guess I was a little detached for that reason, but I was very happy when Nat was like, "Here's what's what, you little
Yeah,
bitch. Why don't you
yeah,
shut the fuck up while I shoot this gun better than you?" I was
right.
happy for
Yeah.
that.
It made me very, very uncomfortable, and I unfortunately, I can't recall if it made me I don't doubt that it made me uncomfortable the first time, but always on
I
a
don't think it did in
rewatch.
the same way. Like, I don't think that was
Right.
a sticking point for either of us.
I don't and I agree with that because I'm thinking to myself, I always on a rewatch, you get a different set of feelings, and
Mhm.
so, yeah, this time around, I my heart dropped into my stomach. I mean, I knew that he wasn't going to harm anyone, but that's neither here nor there. Like, it's the reckless audacity to even play around like that or whatever he was doing, and I was just like,
He
"Fuck
was
no."
mad,
Oh,
and
I
he
know
was
he
scary
was.
in that moment.
Yeah, I mean, like, his eyes this young Travis actor, we talk a lot about the, like, facial acting in Twin Peaks, like, this young
Mhm.
Travis is amazing to me because
Mhm.
you could almost see, like, the darkness flash in his eyes in
Ooh,
that moment,
yes.
and I was just like, "No, do not
Mm-mm.
like," I mean, didn't like it the first time, but this time I'm like, "Fuck you," Like, I don't care if you were naked in the lake just last episode, and I was like, Was Flex always hot?" Now I'm like, "No, you're not hot right now, sir."
Also, he's just like I mean, the fact that he is the pretty much the only dude, he's one of 3 dudes, but he's, like, the dude that's the same age as the girls that he's with, essentially, right? So, like, I don't know if that's working against him, but there's something so fragile male ego about Travis that we don't see in Javi. I think he's probably too young to exhibit any of that maybe, and Ben, I've been really enjoying seeing that Coach Ben is, like, there is another version of this where he brings out the gun and says, "My dad used to take me hunting, so I'll figure this out." And it's like, dude, you have one leg. You cannot be doing that. But I love that he's not this like super macho guy. And he's like, I can, excuse me, I can take charge because I'm still the adult in this situation, but
Right.
he's like leveling with these kids and he's not trying to be this like macho dude. So I think Travis is really standing out in that sense. And I mean, yes, the story about the origin of Flex, that sucks. Kids are dicks. Like teenagers will make up the rudest, most hurtful things about other teenagers, but like get over it, dude.
Yeah,
Like, it could
fuck
be
them kids.
so much worse. You wanna suck your
Well,
own dick? Great. Like, I mean, it's really not that bad.
honestly, it was okay, that moment though, alright, here's the thing. Sure, like, I think at some point we've all been teased about something. I mean,
For sure.
listen, I'll go ahead
Most
and
of
tell
us
y'all.
have, right?
Right. I have one eye. I think I've told y'all this before. I only have one eye that
Mhm.
works.
Mhm.
When I was younger, though, my eye, my ophthalmologist was trying to get the eye that doesn't work to try to work. I used to have to wear a patch over my good
Mhm.
eye. I got made fun of all the time, and it was
For
very
sure.
hurtful. And guess
Yeah.
what? This was in like third grade. Okay, so this was like elementary years, and fuck them kids. Those kids are dicks.
Mhm.
And so I get it, but, like, so I felt for him, but I didn't. I don't know. It was a like it. I don't understand his choices, but then in the moment between he and Nat in that plane where she was like, "So can you suck your dick now?" Like, I'm so glad. Like, she's got a great because I feel like they have dick dads, all this other stuff, right? So there's a
Right.
commonality between the two, and I feel like she's learning how to navigate
Yes.
Travis, and that's going to
She's
eventually help, you know.
She's so kind to him, and he
Right. And she
doesn't
doesn't
really deserve it in that moment.
no.
I did try to, like, cut him some slack because his dad did just die in a plane crash pretty brutally, so, like, we have to afford him that, but he is in, like, pretty much the same situation as everybody else that he's with right now, so, like, take it down, please, sir. Like, just a couple notches.
Bring it down. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bring it down.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
but you're right, Natalie is so just kind to him.
Yeah.
She really is such a sweetie underneath all of her eyeliner.
Well, like
Not that
underneath
you
that
can't be a sweetie with eyeliner, but, like, you know what I mean. She puts on this, like, very
tough
thick
front.
facade. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's what's endearing about Natalie, right? Like, I
For
mean,
sure. That's part of
yeah.
it. Yeah. Big time. Yeah, so there was all I do think that, like, I think now that him and Nat have had this moment, I feel like Travis gets a lot easier to deal with as we move
Yes.
forward. So I
Yeah.
look forward to that.
Definitely.
But
Definitely. Yeah.
all right, well, now for the gatherers then. So they find this plane. And I guess I did also want to talk about Lottie specifically and, like, her sort of suspicions of this whole place. But what I wanted to mention here was we had this, like, grand opening and grand closing for Jackie's redemption arc in this episode because I totally forgot that she pushed Van out of the way. And I genuinely think in that moment Jackie did something kind of without thinking and just was like, let me help this person. I don't think she did it to be even with Van, but then she has to bring it up. Like, why? Why,
Yeah.
Jackie?
It was a short-lived redemption.
Yeah. I mean, she had the grand opening and they went bankrupt the next day and had to fucking close. Like,
Nobody bought a damn thing.
no,
Uh,
they were 50% off within hours. I mean, it was just so sad because I was like, oh shit, I totally forgot this. Like, we're already doing a redemption for Oh no. Okay.
yeah.
Well,
And I love how Van fucking cold shouldered her to no like end, right? When she says that, she's like, okay. Like,
there was
I
there
love
was like
Van.
a little in her face, there was a bit of like, fuck, she's kind of right, but like also fuck that bitch.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
so
Exactly. Oh, Laura Lee, get out of that fucking airplane. I mean, we know
yes,
what's coming, but I was like,
I
dude, get
know.
out. I mean, you're already on the wrong path, ma'am, because you've just started this thing. It is rolling. You are about to slice and dice your girlfriends. Like, please get out of that fucking plane.
But this, like, where Laura Lee goes is one of the most epic parts of this first season. I would not trade it for anything.
Not a
It's so
damn
fucking
thing.
good. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so but Lottie though. So when they find the plane and she sees that, like, the wheel or something is caught in a bunch of, like, I don't know terms, like brambles and weeds and bushes and
Vines.
vines.
Yeah.
And she says, it didn't want him to leave.
Yeah.
And then earlier, like beginning of the episode or whatever, when Nat wakes up, Lottie is still awake. She's staring up at the attic space or whatever, saying like bad things happened here. At this point, I'm a little frustrated. I don't think I really realized this the first time around, or maybe I just didn't realize it until later on. But I feel like right now the show is setting up this idea that this poor girl is off her meds and she's going, or she like something's happening with her mental health. And I don't like that.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute because full disclosure, I'm going to let everyone know that I was very torn the first time through, mainly because they were setting it up like this. And so for me,
Yeah.
I thought to myself, is this just some type of paranoia or
Right.
psychosis because
Yes.
she's off her meds?
And I
This time,
apologize. The way I framed it was probably not with the right language, but, like, I'm not trying to disparage anybody that has
no,
any mental health issues or whatever. I specifically don't like that we know she's off of her meds, and now
right.
she's saying all this stuff.
And this is the other side of a red herring thing that I want to talk about,
Mm.
because this time through, I am 100% more on board with some type of supernatural something going on.
Oh,
Because even
interesting.
through the end of the season, even though we've seen altars and we've seen all of these things that have happened, right?
Mhm.
Antler Queen, the bear, everything else like that, I still thought to myself, this has got to be some type of traumatic, and not just for Lottie, but for everyone, a
Yeah.
traumatic psychosis mixed in with some shroom action at one point. But I am way more on board with something is in the water.
Mm.
And I'm more on board with the supernatural aspect, and I love supernatural shit. I don't know why the first time around I was so against it, and I really think it's because they set up this medication thing for Lottie, and so this is what I'm saying, the flip side of a red herring, like
Mhm.
the
Yes.
Javi is Adam red herring type
Yeah.
thing. This is the other side of a red herring that I actually do not appreciate, because I I just wouldn't want it to be, well, she's off her meds, so therefore she's talking crazy or something. You know what I mean?
It's a really to me, it's like I don't even like this word. I think it's overused and used in the wrong way, but it's like it's lazy writing. It feels too easy to make this how they present the ambiguity. And I don't
Yes.
think they needed to do that. Like the thing is, I think they make it better as the season goes along. Like, I think once we learn more about Lottie, maybe this is why I don't remember feeling this way the first time around, because once we know more about her backstory, like, I was like, oh no, she's just been suppressed her whole life. So, like, she actually does, she is tapping into something that her medication cut her off from.
Yeah, suppressed it.
So
Yeah.
it could work out that it's better once we learn more, but this particular episode makes all of that feel really iffy and kind of uncomfortable, and I'm not here for it. It's super interesting that you're saying you're way more on board for Supernatural, because I find myself almost on the other side now.
Really?
And you know I'm always gonna want it to be supernatural. Like,
Right?
if it turns out to be supernatural, great. I'm super happy. I have no issues with that. But there's something about this watch where I'm just like, it is trauma. How could this not be trauma? Like, and how could it not be supernatural? Like, there's totally arguments for both sides, which is what makes this so great.
They
But
toe the line.
even during
Yeah.
episode 3, the man with no eyes, there was something about the way that Ty didn't see it in the mirror until her grandmother described it to her, and it was almost as though her brain created this picture for her. And I'm
Yes.
like, is the man with no eyes just like a generational trauma in Ty's family? You know, like we're seeing in all of these backstories that these girls have some type of trauma beyond the plane crash. So I don't know. Listen, make it be supernatural. I'll be beyond happy, but I'm almost like, I don't know. So
No, I mean, that's very interesting. And I love the way that it's differing for each of us this
yeah.
time around. And I think that perhaps what we were just talking about with how uncomfortable this idea of her not being on her meds is what's making me lean more towards this is supernatural, because listen, maybe it's supernatural mixed in with some psychosis,
Sure.
especially with the stuff that we're going to see with Ty later on, right? I mean, like, I know that there has to obviously be trauma. There's, all kinds of things happening right now. But for Lottie specifically, I would just really love I say redemption, but what I mean by that is some type of arc where the quote unquote easy way for Lottie, and I'm not talking about mental illness in general, but the quote unquote easy way to suppress what her natural um connection to the veil or things like that is by prescribing a medication and dulling that. But we actually have someone that's, like we just said, very tapped in. I would kind of much rather see that, especially for Lottie. Now, I think Ty's going to be a different case. I think hers might be a lot of trauma based things.
Right.
But the more we get with Lottie, the more we're going to probably see that it's also very easily to be persuaded for the other girls, for the things that are coming up without being way too spoilery, but you know what I mean.
Right. Yes. Yeah. We'll definitely have to keep an eye on how they develop the Lottie stuff to see whether they kind of course correct might not even be the right term because they might have always been on the course of like, no, we're not, it's not a mental health thing. Like, we're not trying to say that people off their meds or whatever, but like, something that's not ambiguous though is how much we love ratings and reviews on your
Right.
favorite podcast platform. So if you are enjoying these episodes, if you are buzzing with excitement over our Yellowjackets rewatch, won't you please dingle dangle, sprinkle sprangle, all those stars on your favorite podcast platform. We'd love 5. We'll take as many stars as you can give us though. And yeah, tell your friends about us too. Why not? Start a
Why
book
not?
club and tell all your friends in the book club about us.
A damn fine pod club.
Oh, I like that.
I'm into it.
How was pod
club? How was pod club? It was great.
Wait, there's no pod club?
The twist of the century.
Oh, love it.
Yes, and if you are looking to follow us on socials, you can find the pod on Instagram at DamnFineTV. You can find me at Superficial Mells, and you can find Jay at
Damn Fine Witch. And you can also find both of us over at patreon.com/damnfinetv. You know the score. Early access to episodes, Discord server, quarterly mail with fun stickers that we make up as we go, and other fun stuff. Just check it out. Go watch the video. You'll learn all about it.
So much fun. So much fun over there.
Yeah, I guess that's it. Thanks for listening to these plugs. So back to the episode.
Yes.
Where do you want to head from here? I guess we kind of started talking about Ty.
Yeah, I was about to say, let's get on over to Ty here.
So before we dive into her from this episode, every time I say that, I'm like, that's gross. But anyways, I really enjoyed your chat last week about Nat and Ty and Travis. And one of you was like, I think Ty has something to do with what's happened to Travis. And that's part of like what really got the wheels spinning for me. And I don't know why, but on this watch, I feel like Ty is much more straightforward than we thought the first time. Like, there's a part of me that is just like, I don't think she it's so hard because of that little smile at the end of the season where it feels like, oh, you know what's happening. But I just feel like all of that is extenuating circumstances or something. Like, I feel like she is innocent to a point.
Right.
There's just something about her that I think, I don't know. I think I was convinced of one thing the first time through, and I'm just not there this time. Maybe I will get there, but
yeah.
So yeah, like I don't think she had anything to do with Travis or Biscuit, and I know it's being telegraphed in certain ways, like the breaking of Allie's leg, but part of me also thinks like that was a genuine mistake. Like, she just went too far. She let that like side of her come out a little too much, but I think she regretted it. Like, I don't think she was happy in that locker room, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And there are some things, you're right. Like, I had a lot of opinions on Ty last episode. What I love is the development of Ty's character in present day the more episodes we get into. The thing that keeps me sus and guessing about her, I know that it's not something that any of the girls want to talk about, but there's something that went down. She doesn't want to discuss it, even with someone who's going to front her entire campaign, and that is her
Right.
prerogative, because
Yes.
this is her journey, and she is not obligated to share it with anyone, even if the other senator is slinging mud, whatever it may be. Like, it obviously makes her uncomfortable, but why does it make her uncomfortable? Because it's kind of like we keep getting these droplets of like, well, I know the official story, but what is it? So there's obviously stuff swirling around. She's hired. There's just something. There's something in the past about Ty that we haven't gotten yet, because she also hired Jessica, but she didn't hire Jessica to like follow, not Adam, but whoever that her opponent's name is. She hired Jessica to keep tabs on the other Yellowjackets. And I think that's why I continue to stay sus of her, but I empathize with her. I really do, because like we just said, there's probably generational trauma there. Then there's the trauma of what happened after the crash. Obviously, things we don't know about yet. We also don't know how that plays into her present day demeanor. She's got a ruthlessness to her, though, even though it might have been an accident with Allie. I mean, she went ahead and called up that opponent and was like, I will drag your drug daughter. I mean, for lack of a better term, because that's how she put it. I will drag her through the mud. Don't fuck with me.
Yeah.
So
I think.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Well, I do think she has that ruthless fighter within her for sure. And I do agree. That's one of the ways that the show walks the line with Ty, because of the Jessica of it all. You're like, why is she so hell-bent on keeping all of this a secret? But I did start thinking, well, okay, she's in politics. Politics are really, like, for lack of a better word, maybe, they're prude.
Yeah.
I mean, I would assume that the fact that she's a lesbian is already difficult enough. She's a Black woman and she's a lesbian. She's trying to be in politics. Like, let's face it, it's still not easy for someone with those identities to be in politics.
Absolutely.
And so even if like what they did isn't that bad, quote unquote, it's a lot worse, I think, in the world of politics.
Sure.
So silencing all of that does make sense in that way. But then there is that part of you that's like, but what could have happened that you need to keep it that much of a secret? So that's what I mean. They're walking such a great line in that way. And then, there is this woman that is going to give her, invest in her and make the campaign, that much better for her. But that is her. She's not ruthless enough to even make up a story. She's not willing to go that far.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. They're definitely walking a really great line with her.
And they are. And that's, oh man. I mean, it's going to be very interesting as we move along the episodes to see what changes, because I'm here to tell you, by the season finale, I was like, fuck Ty. If I'd have never seen her again,
yes, yeah,
I'm fine with that. But I want to be honest. I've come around to her a lot more this time around. I'm still sus of her.
Sure.
But I feel like I have a more empathetic view, and it's for the things that we just discussed here.
Yes.
Right? And it's also this pressure of, listen, I think a lot of us, we have some traumas in our lives that we don't want to necessarily just be so open and discuss. It's maybe not along the lines of surviving a plane crash and then having to survive for 19 months or whatever, like in the wilderness. But
probably not. Yeah.
That's your story, and it's up to you what you want to say. But the secrecy amongst all of them, where they don't speak to each other, they do it in secret if they do. There's an official statement, and then as the episodes go on, we know the crazy shit that begins to happen. And so it's like, well, what are we not aware of, and what does Ty have to do with it, right? So,
Yes. And I think, all of these women are kind of sus, but it's just like some of them aren't in a position to hire people to pretend to be reporters and see what you're going to say. Like, I think there's still shit we don't know about Shauna.
100%.
Misty is so overtly weird and like menacing that
She's a bit of an open
she
book.
she just is what she is, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then but I think like, Nat, we said she puts up this very protective or like tough facade, but there's something else happening underneath there too. And I think it's just the position and the job that that character has been written into that maybe makes her feel that much more sus,
Yeah. Oh, no,
but
absolutely.
like even at this party, we learned that she doesn't eat meat anymore, which I found super interesting. I didn't remember that detail. And then she's so stressed and overwhelmed. If she was super cutthroat, she would have had this party no problem.
That's true.
And I feel like if we get to a point where Ty is kind of, playing it up or whatever, I'm going to be a little irritated because I feel like why is she putting this on kind of only for the audience, really? Like she didn't have to
Right.
put on that persona at the party. I don't think it did her any favors. Like,
Right.
so I don't know. But again, great ambiguity or line walking or whatever you want to call it. So
Oh, for sure. Yes.
I think that's all I've got about Ty. Well, except for why is Sammy so fucking creepy? But that's
Okay,
it.
listen, I'm here to tell you, it scared me once again.
Mhm. It's
Like,
the camera angle and, like, it's so creepy.
it's that, and also, I mean, literally, you only see, like, part of his, and he's got this blank stare, and I
Yes.
am just like, "Please," and they're so unbothered by it. I'm here to tell you right now, if I had an armoire wardrobe and I looked over and James was just laying in there, like, staring at me with a blank, I'd be like, exorcism time, okay? What
Right.
are you doing? They're just so like, "Oh, hi, buddy. Sorry for the swear word. Come on
I
out." I'm like,
I feel like he must do it often. Like, that
I
can't be the
am.
first time that that's happened.
But I was so again, it got me. I was so freaked out.
It is so creepy. You're
Man,
right, it is the blank stare, and it's
that's
obviously
what
the
it
way
is.
that they're playing both with the lighting in the scene and the camera angle. It all just makes it so, like, what the fuck?
Very jarring. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Totally out of nowhere, very jarring, yeah.
Poor Sammy. I mean,
Oh,
bless his little heart.
Sammy.
I
What is
know.
his fucking deal?
All right, controversial yet brave. What if Sammy did this to Biscuit?
Listen,
It's crossed my mind.
let's
Okay.
not rule it out,
I we'll get put a pin in that.
please.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I
Yeah.
think all that's left is, Nat, Misty, and Kevin. I don't have a lot to say about them, but
No, and I feel like we did talk about, well, I talked about it in my overall
yeah.
thoughts. I do feel okay, oh gosh. Okay, so let's talk about, or there's a couple of things I want to say about Nat and Kevin in their past, okay? But like him coming over, they're obviously very good friends. The fear when her dad busted in and did all of that.
Ugh.
But like that intimate, and I don't mean sexual. I just mean like an intimate, like best friends moment
Yeah.
where there's the mixtape and there's the conversation about, the bands and her saying, you're not gonna Sharpie your, by the way, I sharpened my fingernails all the time.
Hell yeah.
Oh my gosh. So this was so relatable where I was like, oh, probably could have just got some black nail polish, but no, I was sharpieing my fingernails.
Because you can color on your shoes and you can color your fingernails, so
And your
why would you
and
get
your
anything?
backpack.
There you go.
I took
And
the
your
whiteout
notebooks
all over my backpack.
and your
Yeah.
locker. I mean, you weren't supposed to, but whatever.
Whatever. Yeah, rule breakers. Um, but it's I do have some empathy for Kevin though, because seeing
Yeah.
that moment between them before all of the situation with her father, but then when you flash forward to present day and they're at dinner, I mean, you already know Kevin probably still harbors these feelings. Well, he obviously tells her, I was so in love with you this whole time. I know that Nat is on a mission, but at the same time, I'm like, not baby Kevin, okay?
I
Let's
do
just
feel
leave him
bad.
alone,
Yeah. Yes.
like,
He is pretty much one of the only, like, innocent people in the show.
true.
Really, like,
Yeah, I know. And I'm
did
like,
you notice that it was a different Kevin in 96 than in the pilot? I could not get past that.
I did not, but I'm fixing to go back and watch.
Yeah, it's a totally different kid, and I'm
Not
sure
a
it's because
recast.
yeah, I'm sure like, I think that happens a lot with pilots, right? Like, sometimes the
Well,
pilot
true.
gets filmed, like, months in advance of the rest of the season, but, yeah, I was like, "Is this why I can't connect with the storyline? Because I'm so stuck on the fact that this is just a different actor."
You're like,
But
who are you? You're not the Kevin I
you
know.
are not Kevin. What are
Yeah.
you even trying to do?
I did not, but I now like after this, I am definitely gonna go watch and I'm gonna make note of that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Kevin just seems oh gosh, yeah. I mean, but I guess it's so like Misty. I feel like her heart is in the right place. She's just so misguided. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, she wouldn't like it's good information for her to see that Jessica is following Nat,
Mhm.
but Nat is just like, bitch, leave me alone. I am working here.
Well, she's
Okay.
like,
Like,
"Okay, she's fine, but what are you doing?"
well,
Like,
exactly. She's like, I don't okay, so this is whatever with her, but hi, hello, what are you doing here? Like, she's like, well, just keeping an eye on you or
but I
whatever.
was like I really liked the opening where she was Googling how to talk to Nat.
I
Like,
know.
I actually thought that was really genuine and sweet, and, like, yes, there's an ulterior motive in a way because, we see by the end of the episode, Misty just wants to be involved because she calls up Shauna to tell her that Travis is dead, and she's very pleased with how she has reinserted herself into this situation.
She's back
So,
in the
sh
group.
yeah, so she's not, like, Googling this super altruistically just to, like, be a very good friend, but there is something inside of all of that that is really sweet and is kind of genuine, but the way that it gets, like, used and abused is so fucked. Like,
I mean, and that's just I mean, yeah, I hate to say that's just Misty, but I mean, it really
it
is.
is. Yeah.
But,
Also, I wanted to make note, I think I might have called her a nurse in episode 2, but she is just a care not just, but she's a care assistant. She's not a
oh,
nurse. Apparently,
okay.
those are 2 very different things. One of them often doesn't even require post-secondary education.
Oh.
So, I do feel like Misty was rescued and was like, "What do I do? Like, I gotta get into the thing that immediately I can help somebody." Like,
Right, like, I
she
gotta
wasted
be
no time.
right, I gotta be
Yes.
somebody's saving grace in some way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And her scrubs had owls all over them.
All over them. Yes.
So,
I made
we all
note.
know what that means.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, they're not what they seem.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, yeah, I mean, it was creepy, but it was just typical Misty in my opinion. And I just again, I feel like her heart was in the right place, but I mean, Nat is just not for this bullshit. She's like,
No.
ma'am, leave me alone.
"Go the fuck home," she
Go
says.
go home. Take
Yeah.
this red label lady back to her room and call it a night, okay?
I mean, I love that scene, though. I love Misty out on the town with this nursing home resident, though. So, I mean, love it. Wouldn't trade it.
No, not at all. Not at all. But yeah, that's really let me check my notes here. But I think that's really all that I had. I mean,
Yeah, same here. Well,
it was
I had why is Sammy so creepy was my only question at the end, but already asked it, so
yeah, and I'm gonna be really watching Sammy a lot closer this time around, you know?
Oh, you know what I did want to say? I mean, I already sent you the screenshot, but you guys were talking last week about the pictures in the display case once we get to the reunion. And it's the whole family. So it's Coach Martinez, Travis, and Javi. All their pictures are
Aha!
there.
Such a mystery.
So sad. So sad that whole, like, that made me really sad for the wife and mother that just lost everybody in
Yeah.
one go. Lost her
Yeah.
whole family.
Yeah.
Just like Nora in The Leftovers.
Oh, God, don't. Okay. Do not break out the napkin.
I know I don't even have any napkins, so we better reel that in.
Here, let me send this one to you.
Oh, thank you. But
It
yeah,
would be
that's all
great
I've
if you
got.
had a red napkin to
Oh,
intercept.
so good. We'll have to plan something like that one day.
We'll have to.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if that's all for this time, I have yet another lecture on why Nirvana did not want to be mainstream.
That sounds like a good one, but I've got a round of mini golf to get to.
Even better. Bye-bye.
See if I can make that shot.
Good luck.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was great.
Oh, yay! That was really good.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Oh, right, I guess I have to exit the full screen. End recording.